Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Now I'm super excited to record today's video because as you guys are watching, the channel that we started together on the channel that you guys are watching on is currently at an all-time high. We're over 700k views in the last 48 hours. Not only that, my personal channel that you guys are watching on is also at an all-time high the past few days. Like, you guys have been genuinely going crazy. I really appreciate all the support. And apparently these videos are actually helping you guys, which was always my goal from the beginning. So I made a video about how you can make your retention extremely high, which, as you guys can tell, my video that is currently going crazy has a 96% average view duration / retention, which just goes to show how important retention can really be. Like, this is almost 100% retention, and by no means it is obviously my highest viewed short till this moment, and it's still going crazy. Now I want to talk about today your swipe rate. Okay, now that is going to be right over here. Now your swipe rate is when the short pops up on an average person's feed. It really is just a ratio between people that swipe away and people that don't swipe away, people that actually stay and decide to watch the video. Now the swipe rate is calculated after 4 seconds. So if 10 people see your short and 8 of them watch past 4 seconds, that means you have an 80% swipe rate, right? Because 2 people probably swiped away in the first 4 seconds. So you might not think that this is really important, but this is one of those major factors that actually directly correlates to views and stuff like that. And that's something you guys have been struggling with, and a lot of you guys have been mainly commenting on how you can increase views, or you're stuck in it 10k views or 15k views, like different ranges. And guys, when it comes to shorts, you have to think of it like this, okay? A successful YouTube shorts channel is just a combination of certain metrics working together, including your swipe rate, your retention, and so on, right? So we went over retention, and if you guys want to watch that video, by all means check it out. I try to keep my videos as short as possible because I understand brain rot, and we as humans are getting rid of what is it called, our own retention. So anyways, so swipe rate. Now, as you guys can tell on this video, I have an 86% swipe rate. Now, based on my own research and my own success on this channel, anywhere between 80 to 90% is really good, and that is that range you want to aim for. Like, honestly, not close to 90% or 90% plus is insane. That genuinely has to be a short that is in such a global niche, in a sense, that 9 out of 10 people are gonna actually stay and watch your video, right? So it's very hard to get those crazy 90% rates. However, as you guys can tell, 86% is still insane. 86 out of 100 people after 4 seconds watch this video. Now I'm gonna talk about how you guys can increase this, because again, sharing my metrics wouldn't really help you. So when it comes to swipe rate, think of it logically, right? I'm telling you guys that the first 4 seconds is what determines who stays or who doesn't, and that directly correlates to your swipe rate. And again, having a higher swipe rate is just telling YouTube and the algorithm that this is something that people are actually choosing to watch and stay, which means you get a higher retention, number one. And number two, it's probably a good short because you're keeping, people on YouTube's platform. And in return, YouTube's going to push your short out more, right? You have to realize this before I talk about how you can increase it, because it's a system. The thing is, a lot of people just overlook these metrics. Yeah, who cares about view duration? And the shorts are so not thought out properly that there's no coincidence that you're not getting the views that you think you should be getting. So the first 4 seconds, as people talk about, is actually your hook, right? That is the time where you're gonna get your introduction, your hook, or whatever it is gonna be to get your viewers' attention. Now, for obviously purposes that we're just gonna use this short because this is obviously the one that is doing good. Now, when I make these ranking shorts, again, I'm trying to capitalize on how I can get the highest retention and how I can get the highest swipe rate, right? So one thing I always do, again, this is gonna vary niche for niche, but I'll give a few examples, is in the ranking niche where I'm just ranking a few, random clips. So this is about nonchalant elevator entrances or whatever. I never start with number 1. The reason being, number 1 would be really good to get a high swipe rate because instantly they would see the best entrance. And assuming it's a 5-6 second clip, I'm sure everybody wants to know what the number 1 thing is, right? Mentally, we just want to know. And on top of that, to increase that psychological effect, I don't make all of them the same color. As you guys can tell, my number 1, 2, 3 are gold, bronze, silver. And as humans, if it was just all 5 numbers were all white, it isn't as significant compared to seeing bronze, silver, gold, because you have those colors in your mind, like, connected to like bronze medals and silver trophies, whatever, right? Like these weird psychological connections, like as humans, when we see them, like you want to know what number one is, right? So if I was to put number one, starting off like going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all that would happen is my swipe rate would probably be really good, but my average view duration would be horrible, because once you see what the number one, thing is, why would you want to stay and watch the rest of the video, right? Maybe you like it, but like on average, your view duration would like be really bad, right? Now, on the flip side, if you make number one the last thing you show, your average view duration will be higher, because like I'm showing number two, which is very close to number one, but it isn't number one. Very big difference, right? Like you're going to see number two. And obviously this one was pretty crazy. Like this guy, he stopped the elevator with his head in between. Like that's kind of crazy, right? And now when you see that, you're like, damn, that's pretty crazy. And that's number two. Like what would number one be? And then that leads you to watching till the end, right? Which is why this video has a 96% average view duration. Like it's crazy, right? And the main dip was right here, which I think is just, yeah. And I talked about this in the retention video as well. This was my fault. This clip ended right, like it was done right here. I don't know why I left 2 extra seconds, but again, you live and you learn. If I didn't leave those 2 extra seconds at the end, I promise you this probably would have had 10 million views right now and 100% retention. But again, I'm still happy it's doing the way it is. So that's retention. Now swipe rate, right? When you make your short, think of it from your own perspective. Like if this came up on your shorts feed, watching the first 4 seconds, like, is this something you're genuinely interested in? A lot of people, like, they start off their short, like if you're in like the, information niche, right? Instead of like a lot of common mistake that a lot of people do is like within the first few seconds, you say like, oh, this is why, I don't know, butterflies don't fly. I don't know, I'm just making up an example. But then before you actually get to the reason, you say, oh, but before I tell you, if you think this XYZ, hit the subscribe button. Like hopefully I'm making sense. But a lot of people have the call to action too early. And like if I personally am watching a video about a fact and like you're just not telling me the fact because you're telling me to subscribe, I'm probably gonna swipe off, right? So just make sure that like if you're in the ranking niche, don't start with number one and don't start with number 5, because like when you're starting with number 5, it's like I'm not gonna watch this whole thing just to see what number 1 is. But when you start off with number 2, you're already building that interest right away. And another thing is to eliminate any dead time in your clips. So whether it's the information niche, ranking niche, literally like, I don't know, streamer niche, sports niche, like you want to get straight to the point as fast as possible. So like this clip in reality was like 3 seconds extra, but I literally just started it 1 second before he gets into the elevator, right? So, okay, that's not the, let's go back for a sec. So like, look, literally right, like within the one second mark, he's in the elevator already. And the text is already on the screen. You're like reading the text, Skull Crusher, and now you're curious, what is a Skull Crusher? Then you watch him crush his skull. You're like, damn, that's crazy. What could number 1 be? And then boom, now you're watching the video. Hopefully I'm making sense. I kind of like yap a lot, but I'm trying to get this out as fast as possible. So what you want to do, again, you want to find that balance between like how you can have maximum retention and maximum swipe rate, but never sacrifice your retention for your swipe rate. Like don't just like give, again, I'm using examples very specific to this niche, but hopefully, you guys are able to like make that make sense. If you guys have been watching the series we're doing on my channel, which is the same series that led us to this channel, we basically are redoing it, but now I'm doing like a face niche with my face. And that niche is just like essentially me looking at like, random facts that are like super stupid. And like, I'm just basically yapping a lot, just like rage bait people or like, build that retention. And I'm not just starting the video off by like, oh, this is like, for example, like, okay, let me give an example. So if I'm talking about the close to extinct animals, right? I'm not just going to be like in the first second of the video, oh, the dogs are about to be extinct. Okay, because that's really like, that is the juice of the video. I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to say is like, these animals are going to be extinct in 2025. And then like, I'm building that curiosity of like, what animals are going to be extinct in 2025, right? And like, what does that do? Number 1, now people are less inclined to swipe away because I'm telling them what I'm going to give them in this video, like in the first few seconds, right? And then number 2, if the dog clip is like the last clip of my short, my average view duration would probably be higher. Because I would probably say something like, these animals are going to be extinct in 2025. And then I'm like, but butterflies, they're going to be extinct. No way. Dogs, like, you know what I mean? Like you want to give them like a trailer in the first 4 seconds, which keeps them from not swiping away, but also builds that interest so that they can stay till the end, where you give them like that main juicy part, which leads, increases your average view duration. I really feel like I blabbered a lot and probably didn't make a lot of sense, but hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of an understanding. If you guys want me to go in more detail about literally any metric or anything at all, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I like you can see, I'm getting a lot better. 90% here in terms of thing, and then 80%. Again, it's really just these simple things, and then you build that snowball effect, and then you just want to keep going, and eventually you're gonna hit those crazy days. I'm hoping to hopefully hit 1 million here within the next 2-3 days. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. That is how you can master and the best swipe rate as possible. If you guys made it to the end, drop a W down below. I really appreciate all of you guys. I'm trying to reply back to all the comments. There's just so many, but if you have any questions, comments, advice, I really would appreciate it. Leave it in the comments down below. And if you want to stay along with the journey, which a lot of you guys have, I really appreciate all the subscribers. We are on our way to 3,000. So if you want to join along, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.